Hi, this is June Stanley's my AEP 858 Module 15 case study. So Truman Elementary School, small school, suburban Midwest, fairly small district, and 15% free and reduced lunch, 5% English as a second language. Really low reading and math scores, and the reading is worse. And not only that, but cohorts lose ground as they move through the school, and you see a decline grade to grade. So obviously parents are dissatisfied. They don't like what's being taught for the reading and the spelling, and the PTA has written me a letter asking that the issue be addressed. So the principal, that's me. I've been principal for 2 years. I'm local, but not from within the school. And I have assessed the problem, and I've asked the district reading supervisor to come in and make some recommendations. I'm also highly interested in a grant program for reading programs. And so the grant, it's available for schools like mine. High poverty, I house grades K through 4, and there's about $250,000 grants for about 10 to 15 schools that are available. And it would be a 2-year program for research-based reading programs to improve student skills. So there's criteria for the grant, and I would have to know something about my data. I'd have to be aware of my problems. I'd have to understand research-based programs and be real committed to implementing them. And we would make the proposal this summer, and if we get the money, it would be implemented the following school year. So the district reading supervisor's report, real helpful. He said the teachers are following the curriculum, but they're only teaching ELA for about an hour a day, and all the students are basically receiving the same instructions regardless of their performance levels. So there's not much individualized instruction. So and there's also no instruction in strategic reading. So our content, our instruction, they're not aligned with recent research on what's effective. So we need to add some skills. We need to integrate reading and writing. We need to increase our ELA teaching time, have more individualized instruction, and then we also need a comprehensive professional development for the staff and extensive support once the program is implemented. So the data, the reading scores are worse than math, but they're both pretty bad. And the changes from as the cohorts move through the school and grade to grade are overwhelmingly negative. And there's no real trends that I can see from the small amount of data that I have. And so what do I need to know? Lots from the data. Something before the last 3 years. And what about district, state, and national scores? Are there data for other assessments that, either standardized or informal assessments that the teachers are giving in the classroom? And what kind of analysis has been done for the data? What I have on hand is very little. I'm not able to get much information from it. And so perceptions, obviously, there's parental dissatisfaction. But what other perceptions data has been collected for the school or the district or the state, and what more can I do to reach out to the community? What do the teachers think about how they're teaching reading? And what do the students think about how they're learning it? What is the overall culture of the school? And the demographics of the community. I know about our free and reduced lunch and our ESOL, but what other data is available, and has the data that we have been aggregated and disaggregated so that we know how the ESOL students are doing, free and reduced lunch, different ethnic groups, different genders, how are the different teachers' success reflected in the data. And so support and research. What kind of support can I expect from the district? I've already gotten some, but what can I get from them as far as a math expert coming in, a grant writer, help with researching research-based reading programs? So identify the problem. Obviously, we need to increase our student skills in reading, spelling, writing, and also math. And so we need a comprehensive school-wide program so that we begin to see continuous improvement in student success. And the program should involve all stakeholders. The grant writing can be really tricky. I've written several smaller grants, but when you have something like this, you're talking around $250,000. You really need someone who knows what they're doing. There's a lot of criteria involved in this grant proposal, And so I would want to work closely with someone, either a district grant writer or, if necessary, hire one. It's worth the money. My plan of action, I need to collect and analyze all the available data, research effective reading programs, and choose a program that can be adapted to math instruction, make sure all the grant criteria will be met, find a grant writer, involve all stakeholders, and then implement the program when I get the grant monies. If we don't get it, we still need to do something about our low reading and math scores. So step one, collect and analyze all the data. There's a ton of data out there. We need to collect data from all four types of data, and we need from our school, district, state, and nationwide. We need to use a data warehouse if possible to analyze that, and then if not, have a dedicated position for hopefully a teacher to use Excel and data analysis software to aggregate and disaggregate the data, and then get information from the data, and then involve the stakeholders in looking at that information. Step one, effective reading programs. I would hope to have help from the district in researching this, and then be able to choose a number of them and then narrow our search based on having the strategies that we want, and that it best fits the grant program, and that it can be applied to math instruction as well. So that said, we really need to improve our math scores also. And so what I'd hope to do is involve a math expert from the district to give us some recommendation, and then have him or her look at our the reading program we're thinking of choosing, and see if that can help in our math instruction also. So step four, make sure all the grant criteria are met. When we're writing our grant proposal, we need to look at what they want in it, in that they want someone who knows about the data for the school. They want someone who is chosen a research-based reading program and who is highly committed in implementing that program. So involving all the stakeholders, really, really important. So when we collect all this data, then I need to have meetings on all different days and times so everyone can attend. The web page should have infographics, and I would like to form committees that reflect all of our stakeholders, and they would be involved in every step of the progress. Step six, when we get the money, implement the program. And this, once again, we've been involving all the stakeholders. And it should include extensive training for the teachers, and then continuing support as we actually begin to implement the program. So resolving the issues, it's all about promoting the success of all our students, academic success and their well-being. And we're focusing on reading, and there's almost nothing more important than reading, because it's difficult to be successful in anything else if you don't have good reading skills. So my plan would ensure 5 outcomes. We would ensure continuous school improvement in reading and math scores. We would routinely collect data in all 4 areas and analyze that data and use the information provided. Stakeholders would be involved at every step of the way, and they would become integral and valuable participation in all the programs in the school, and this would continue throughout the years. It's not something that would just, we would just have for a short time until we feel like our students are being more successful. And so my plan would promote the success of all students in reading, writing, spelling, and math. So some examples from the case. The case shows that we have low math and reading scores, and that they're declining through the years and declining for each cohort. So my resolution of the problem would allow for collecting and analyzing all 4 types of school data. And we'd use the information from this and involve all the stakeholders and implement a research-based reading program, and that would ensure the success of all students through the years. So the stakeholders, the case shows that they are not very happy about our reading and math scores. It's understandable. So my resolution of the problem would involve all the stakeholders in all phases of the plan, from beginning to end, and then it would continue year after year. The case shows that there's grant money available for a research-based reading program, and my school fits the criteria. So my resolution would ensure that we write a quality grant proposal that fit all the criteria, by employing a grant writer or using a district grant writer. And the proposal will include a research-based reading program. So the program, our reading supervisor found that our instruction and content did not fit the criteria for recent research on what's effective. So my resolution would provide the school and or the district with research-based reading program, and it would provide instructional strategies. I would thoroughly train our teachers and provide ongoing extensive support as needed. So debriefing. What was I thinking? First of all, what was I doing for the last 2 years while these scores are so low? And I'm thinking that parents and stakeholders can really be a powerful resource, and I need to learn more about the data, collecting it and analyzing it, and I need to know more about research-based reading and math programs. So what was I feeling? Pretty embarrassed about the last 2 years. What was I doing? And interested about the data, grateful for the help I received, and pretty excited about the new reading program. And so what was I valuing? Definitely the success of every student at Truman Elementary. That's number one. And then I valued all the input and the help from stakeholders, the teachers that work so hard. And I really value the data. There's so much information to be gained from that. And so there's some unresolved issues. How do our scores compare to the district, state, and national scores? How are students doing in other subjects? What's our school culture like? How can I involve parents and stakeholders in promoting a positive school culture? And what can I do to identify other problems that I may not even be aware of and ensure continuous school improvement in those areas also? So the evidence. I collaborated with all stakeholders throughout the entire program, throughout the entire process, and our collaboration continued and will continue. So this collaboration is it's mutually beneficial and it's reciprocal. So the stakeholders have constant input, I have constant input, and I learned a lot from it, and they did as well. So responding to the community using the data I had on hand was disseminated to the community, and then I collected and analyzed more data and involved all the stakeholders in looking at the information that we got from that. I implemented policies for assessing student progress. I followed regulations about data privacy during all this and used non-identifiable data and initiated school policies for continuing collaboration with all stakeholders. And then I invited our district reading supervisor, our district math supervisor, district grant writer, and collaborated with district and state personnel to explore the collection and analysis of the data. These are my references. Thank you for listening.